In the world today, July the 16th, the International Monetary Fund has retained its forecast for 2024 and 2025 in its latest World Economic Outlook at 3.2% and 3.3% respectively. Here is a brief on that from the IMF Chief Economist, Pierre-Olivier Gorincha, speaking today in Washington.
Global growth remains steady at 3.2% this year, unchanged from our April World Economic Outlook, and slightly higher at 3.3% next year. But there have been some notable developments since April. First, growth in major advanced economies is becoming more aligned as output gaps are closing. In the United States, we see increasing signs of cooling. In the euro area, meanwhile, growth is picking up. Asia's emerging market economies remain the main engine for the global economy. Growth in India and China is revised upwards and accounts for almost half of global growth. Yet prospects for the next 5 years remain weak. Growth in China is projected to moderate to 3.3% by 2029, well below its current pace. As in April, global inflation will slow to 5.9% this year from 6.7% last year, broadly on track for a soft landing. But in some advanced economies, especially the United States, progress on disinflation has slowed. Risks remain broadly balanced, but some downside near-term risks have gained in prominence. First, there could be bumps on the disinflation path in advanced economies. This could force central banks, including the Federal Reserve, to keep borrowing costs higher for even longer. That would put overall growth at risk, with increased upward pressure on the dollar and harmful spillovers to emerging and developing economies. Mounting empirical evidence points to the importance of global headline inflation shocks, mostly energy and food prices, in driving the inflation surge and subsequent decline across a broad range of countries. The good news is that as headline inflation shocks receded, inflation came down without a recession. The bad news is that energy and food price inflation are now almost back to pre-pandemic levels in many countries, while overall inflation is not yet. One reason, as we emphasized previously, is that goods prices remain high relative to services.